back to Longswitch Academy. My name is Subham Prajapati. Today we will be discussing a new topic, that is Salesforce objects at work. Today in this video we will be talking about what is the key difference between Salesforce standard and custom object, and how you can choose a specific type of object for your next Salesforce project. So let's begin. If you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe and click on the notification icon. Thank you. Let's begin. So the first thing, how Salesforce objects impact decision making, no matter the organization. In this presentation, we will walk through the key aspects of Salesforce standard and custom objects, and understanding the difference between the two is very crucial. Whether you are a beginner or an experienced one, you have to understand what are the capabilities of both of these types of objects in Salesforce. This will be our like basic table of contents, the items or the points that we will discuss. The first is introduction to standard and custom objects. The second one would be configuration and customizations. The third would be use cases and scenarios. The fourth is integrations and data relationships. Fifth is security and access control. Then reporting and analytics. The next would be upgrades and the maintenance. Let's first look at the introduction of each one of these. We will begin with introduction to standard objects. So basically, standard objects are nothing but the out of the box objects provided by Salesforce. Those are maintained, created and upgraded by Salesforce. In order to give, if we wish to give a example of some standard objects provided by Salesforce, those would include accounts, contacts and opportunities. And as I mentioned, these are the pre-built objects that Salesforce creates in your org. We cannot like either create or delete them, but we may optimize it. We may optimize these objects by creating additional fields depending on our use cases, or maybe adding new page layouts or record types to it as per our business needs. But basically, those are the ones that are created by Salesforce. We cannot do anything about it. Now let's look at the some of the standard objects such as accounts. So as you know, you might be having your org with you. It might be a developer org, it can be a sandbox, or maybe a production org. So what you can do is log in into your org, go to the setup by clicking on this icon. I'm just giving you a basic demo. In the object manager, try to look for the object. For example, I'll look for the account. You see, the API name is this. If there is one trick that you can use, that you can use to decide whether it is a custom object or the standard object provided by Salesforce. If you look at the API name, that will not have a underscore C in its name. If you see that kind of name, that means it is a custom object. Otherwise, you should consider it as a standard one. Let's look at the fields that Salesforce generally provides. Here you can see there are certain fields such as name, account owner, account site, account source. Then there are some custom fields that I created for one of my projects. This is what I was mentioning. Apart from the standard fields that Salesforce provides, you can also enhance the standard objects as per your requirements. You can continue to add more fields. You can continue to add more page layouts to it. So these are the pre-configured fields. So you see that there is a lot of work that Salesforce has already done for you. So you don't have to spend more time on customizing these things. Let's look at the page layouts. Okay, here you go. There are some pre-configured page layouts that Salesforce creates for your use, and there are so many things that you can create. Let's see if it creates record types. No, it doesn't create a record type by default for you. But if you wish, you can create a different record types for your standard objects as well as per your understanding. Let's go back to the presentation. Introduction to custom object. What does that mean? What is a custom object? Let's try to understand this. For example, you are building some application. Let's say we are building one application called agency management system for our company, where we have specific needs for storing some custom data within our Salesforce org. For example, you say if you are creating an agency management project or system, you will be having different entities inside that system. Those entities might include employee, projects, timesheets, or maybe some sort of uh, objects for storing different work what I say work diaries for your employees, those kind of information. So in order to store such custom based information, you might be wondering, you might be requiring some area or some place to store that information. And this is the point where the standard objects provided by Salesforce might not fit into your requirement. At that point of time, you can leverage the feature of custom objects, where you can define your own custom objects, where you can define fields on them, and then you can just store your data to keep what I say to keep track of your custom information within the Salesforce. So by the definition, if we have to go like these custom objects are created by users to suit specific business needs, as I mentioned, as I have given you the example of agency management system. And some examples could include like projects, employees, timesheet, work diaries. And again, these custom objects might not be uh, specific, or might not be it might not be generic to all the Salesforce users. It can be tailored to meet certain business requirements, so that it is specific to particular user, it is specific to particular business. Now let's look at an example in the org, how we can create a custom object and how we can add fields to it. For that, you have to just go to the setup within the org. If you don't know these steps, click on the when you log in after you log in into your Salesforce org, click on this settings icon, go to setup. The setup homepage will appear. From there, you have to go to object manager, click on this create menu. There are two options you can use for creating a custom object, either the standard procedure by clicking on this custom object option, or you can also create a custom object from spreadsheet. For this demo, we will be using this first option. Click on this custom object, and you will be present with this page where you have to enter the label of your new object. For example, I want to create a new object for my employee data as per my new agency management system that I am planning to create. I'll be adding the plural label. The object name will appear here. Additionally, you can also add the description, and I, as per my personal tip, or what I say help note, you can consider, you should always add a description for your like custom object or the feeds that you will create, because if the people after you comes into the org or comes into the project, they should know why a particular thing was created within an org. Let's see. what description will be apt for this. Mm, this object will store the employee information used within new C management system. So that this description will be helpful for the new team members who will be joining this project, and they will know. And the here this asks for the label of the name field for this object. Let's keep it like this, and then the data type. Either you can keep it as auto number or the text. For our purposes, we'll just keep it as text, or maybe we can keep it as auto number, and I'll rename the label as employee sequence number. Since this is an auto number, we have to specify a format. I'll keep it as since we will be building it for our personal use, so the name would be, the prefix would be ls, that stands for the long switch. And the 6 digit, the starting number would be 1. And there are some optional features that you can set, whether you want to allow reports, yes, allow the activities, whether you want to allow track field history, yes, allowing the chatter group, not yet, since we are not utilizing chatter at this point. Then there are certain options for the classifications, you can go through them. Deployment status, and there is one additional thing that you can configure for your custom object, that is search status, whether you want to allow the global search for this object. Yes, obviously if user wants to search some data within my custom object, you should be able to do that. The next thing is object creation options, which means whether you want to allow the nodes and attachments for your objects. This is crucial. You need to understand, is your object going to have some nodes and attachments related to it. For example, we are creating employee, so yes, one employee record can have attachments related to it. For example, he can have his what I say job offer letter as an attachment. He can have some termination letter or maybe experience certificate. So yes, definitely we need to allow. So click on this, and the last option is launch new custom tab wizard after saving this object. As you know, for every custom or standard object, you can create a tab within Salesforce for easy navigation through the platform. So yes, I want to launch it. So the next part is, once I'm done with it, I'll hit save. Okay, so I hit with a nag. What is that? The object name is already in use. What does that mean? Why it is happening? Let's go back to the setup, look for the name if it already exists. Okay, you see it got created on, I guess, 7 November 2023. So since I already have one object with that name, the Salesforce won't allow me to create another one. So let's slightly change the label. I'll keep it as ls employee, because I will be creating the system for my organization. I would like to uh, prefix the all the declarative things such as objects or fields or flows that I will be using with a particular name, so that I can easily identify that okay, these are being utilized into my project. So here also I'll change something like this. So basically, since we are in the developer org, it won't allow us to have what I say namespace. So this kind of prefix will serve as a namespace kind of thing, where you can easily identify your object from specific projects. So now let's see whether it will now allow me to save or not. Okay, it went through. That's why we are having this wizard to create a tab, because we had selected that option. Click here, choose any of the tab style. I'll just keep it as airplane. And here also you can also add some descriptions. Custom tab for elements and story object. It is a good practice to have a description added for your all the declarative items that you will be creating. Custom tab for ls employee object utilized in licensing management system. Hit next. Hit next. Click save, and your tab will be added. We'll take a look at that later. Now see, we'll take a look at how the fields can be added to a custom object. For example, we want to create one field for employee name. In case you miss this step, go inside your object under the fields and relationship, click new. While creating the field, you should be identifying the type of information that your field will be having. For example, I want to create one field for my employee name, so the type would be text. So I would label it as employee name. The length, maximum length I want to allow is, let's say, 100 characters. Used to store them in the employee. Help text. If you wish to add help text for your field, you can do that. Name of the employee. And I want this name to be unique across all the objects, across all the records. Like no two employee name, like employee records should have this similar names. But wait, is that is that a valid point that we have to think about? Is that a valid point? I suggest, I think no, because two-person can have the same names, so we cannot make it unique. So, but should it be required for an employee record to save to have a name? Yes, the employee name will always be required. Until or unless you provide the employee name, your record should not be saved. So these are the basic validations that you can apply at the field level. Once you are done and once you are like okay with the information that we have entered, click next. Here you can see, you can decide to which profile in Salesforce you want to make this field visible. For now, let's make it visible to everyone. And at this point, you can decide whether you want to add your new fields to the page layout so that it becomes visible for your users. Yes, let's say. So this is the basic tutorial on how you can create a custom object. How can you create a tab for it and add fields to it. Similarly, you can also add multiple fields as per your use case. I have the entire data dictionary with me that I will be creating. But since this is the like kind of introductory video that I'm making, I won't be showcasing you the all the steps by adding all the fields. But this process is pretty much simple. Uh, you can repeat the steps to have the additional fields added. Now let's quickly take a look at the tab that got created. So for that, you have to click on this application launcher, search for your tab. My tab name will be ls employee. I'll click on that. Salesforce will bring the tab for me, and since this is the brand new object that we created, and there will be no records into it, so inside it, so we have to create some records. If you wish to create new record for your custom object, you have to select this new button and add a new. Let's say my name is Shubham Prajapati. I'll be adding one record for myself. And before I do that, let's try not to enter any value. So it won't allow me to save the record because we had marked the employee name field as required, and this was the label that we had added, employee name. And you remember we had also added the help text. This will appear here. If you remove the uh, help text from the field configuration, this won't show up. So in order to save this record, I have to provide my name. I'll hit save. My record got created, and you see we had configured the name field to be auto number, and in this particular format, so it created the record. So this is the basic overview of how you can create a custom object, how you can create a fields inside it. One more thing that I wanted to showcase to you. uh, for that, you have to just, since you are inside this record, you can just go here and edit the object. So you see, when you are inside the details of your custom object, in the API name, you see this underscore underscore C. Do you recall the same point I had highlighted when I was explaining the standard object? This is the key difference. If one object is a custom object, you'll see something like this underscore underscore C at the end. This is the Salesforce way of identifying that uh, that this particular object is a custom made. It is not provided by Salesforce custom objects. Now moving on to the next difference between the two, that is the level of configuration and customization each supports. For example, the standard objects such as account opportunities, they provide us very limited customization options. For example, if you go to the object manager and let's say we open account, and let's say I want to change its name or maybe the label. I can't do that with the help of the object manager. I can't do that because that's the standard object. I cannot customize it. Similarly, for example, I come to any of the fields that comes up with the standard object. For example, name. I open that field definition. This field is loading. Okay. So even on that field as well, as you can see, I cannot modify some attributes, such as I cannot modify the description, I cannot change the label from the what I say object manager. Similarly, if I go here, like these are the predefined page layouts, and let me check something. Let's try if we can delete these. Yes, these options are available. Like I said, like some of the options are available. Like you can delete the page layouts that comes up predefined with the standard objects, but you cannot change its label, the object label. You cannot change certain attributes on the on the standard object. Now, what are the key differences that we can just quickly highlight? As I mentioned, that there are limited customization option available with the standard object. Then the fields and page layouts can be modified, but with the restrictions. Yeah, as we discussed, we cannot change certain values on the fields, and we can delete some of the page layouts that comes predefined with the standard object. And similarly, as I told that even though the standard objects comes pre-configured within the Salesforce org, but you can enhance or customize it to add more fields. Let's take an example. On the account object, if I click here new under the fields and relationships, it will allow me to add new fields. Let's try to create a date field, and I will select the type data type as date. I will enter as the label account opening date. Uh, I'll since I will not be using it. I since we are just creating it for the demo purpose, I will name it as I'll add a description as demo field created during the tutorial. So in case I forget to delete it, anyone else in the team looks at this field by this description, he or she comes to know that this is not a required field, it was just a demo. And here I can pick these four page layouts were pre-configured on the standard object, so we can specify whether we want to have the new field added on this page layout or not. Let's add that field to these page layouts and see. Let the field save. You can see that the field got created. Now let's quickly try to create an account record just to see whether we get an option to provide value into that custom field or not. I'll, okay, I'm on the accounts tab. From here I'll click new. I'll add one account with my name, and you see this is the custom field that we had created, so we can pick up the value into that field. I tried saving that, and here you will see that the value appears. Okay, so certain level of customizations are also available with the standard object, like you can add page layouts, add new page layouts to it, you can add new fields to it, maybe you can also define record types, write validation rules, maybe you can also create reports based on that. So that level of configuration and customization is also possible with the standard objects, but there are certain restrictions. Let's in turn, let's see what are the options that custom objects provides us. They are highly customizable. Yes, as we saw during the demo, while I was creating new custom object, I can like spin off a brand new object based on my need. I can create it. I can define the fields. I can create even lookup or master detail relationships with the other objects, and I can also set up the page layout, reports, configure the record types. I can also set the field level security with the custom objects. So those are the things that I can do with the custom objects. So they are highly customizable. There is no limitations with regards to the custom object as opposed to what we have in standard objects. Moving on to the next difference between the two use cases and scenarios for both of the objects. So this is a crucial question, like when to use which type of object for your business needs. So like as we know, the standard objects are pre-configured object in the Salesforce org. So they are apt for the situations which are pretty straightforward and basic. What I say, business needs that you want to incorporate within your Salesforce org. For instance, you want to track your like orders you want to track your opportunities regarding to your customers. So you can configure your accounts and opportunities in such a way that your sales team can track your sales pipeline. So those kind of ideal situations, you can use the standard objects. And if again, the another use case could be if you want to code something, or if you want to send code to your prospects. For that kind of also standard procedures, you can use the standard objects. So these are the basic use cases. Now let's take a look at the use cases and scenarios for the custom objects. As we discussed, custom objects are meant for the tailored business processes. For example, you have a specific unique business process that you want to incorporate within your Salesforce org. For that kind of situations, you can always define your custom objects. You can define your fields and add and associate different custom objects altogether. For instance, for these demo purposes, we took an example of agency management system that we will be developing as part of our series on YouTube. So for that particular system, we have a special use case that we want to track the information about our employees. We would like to maintain the information about their attendance, their leaves, their timesheets, their work diaries, their projects, or maybe the budget that we spend on them based on the projects. So for that kind of use case, we face certain limitations with the standard objects, and in order to incorporate that system, we will definitely go with the custom objects in the Salesforce. So whenever you have a unique use case, unique business process that cannot be handled by a standard objects provided by Salesforce, you can always go for the custom objects. Let's see what we have next. Integrations and data relationships. So how the Salesforce standard object and custom objects supports integration, and what level of relationships you can establish. So let's take a look at the standard object. Well integrated with other standard objects. What does that mean? For example, in Salesforce, there are certain predefined relationship you receive from the Salesforce itself. For example, let me take a look at this. We are on the account record, and if we go to the related list section, you will see that Salesforce provides us pre-configured related list on the account, such as contacts, opportunities, cases, notes, and attachments. What does that mean? You don't have to define anything to associate one contact with an account. You don't need to do anything extra to associate your opportunities with the related account. So that kind of configuration is there for you. You can just easily just feed in your data and start utilizing it. So that pre-configuration is there. But when it comes to the custom object, let me open our custom object. Employees, I guess it got okay. LS employees. So this is our custom object. Right now we don't have any relationship or lookup or master detail relationship field set up here. Let me open this. You will see that there is no relationship field available here. Like there is no relationship, automatic relationship between the timesheet projects or maybe work diaries associated with the employee. So in order to have such relationship in place, I will have to first create another custom object that I will need, and then manually create the lookup or master detail relationship based on my need. So that level of pre-configurations you won't receive with the custom object. I hope that is clear. And second, relationship are predefined and follow Salesforce best practices. Yes, that I already highlighted, that some of the objects are already having predefined relationship between each other, and those are two according to Salesforce's best practice. You don't have to do anything, so that saves the effort for you. And the example, as rightly said, the standard account object is automatically related to contacts. Similarly, like in the custom objects, there is no pre-configured relationship, but you can create relationship between any object, between custom to custom object or custom to standard object based on your use cases. So that provides you more flexibility in like in designing your data dictionary within the Salesforce. For example, if we look into the context of custom object, creating a custom object for projects and establishing a relationship with the account object. Yeah, that is totally possible. Let's see what we have in the list. So the next item in the list is security and access control for both standard and custom objects. So the standard objects by default supports the Salesforce's standard security model. You don't have to do anything. Salesforce will auto configure its security model as well as the access control. For instance, like standard objects like cases, they use the default sharing setting in the Salesforce. You might be wondering what a sharing setting is. We will be covering this topic in the later section of this series, maybe in later videos. So you will get to know more about it. It is more of the admin side of the things. But the one thing that you can take from here is the security and access of the like standard object is being automatically handled by the Salesforce, and they follow the best practices and guidelines according to their ecosystem. Similarly, if we go to the custom object, like admins have the full control over setting up the security as well as the access control on your custom objects. For instance, admin can define different level of access to the information stored in the custom object based on user's role and profile, and they can also at any point of time can modify those permissions based on the business needs or requirements. So they are the main controller of the access level throughout your custom object, what I say, hierarchy. Okay, so that is about this point. This is a bit of admin topic. We will cover that, like maybe this is kind of advanced admin topic that we can cover in the later parts of this, our series or our YouTube videos. So stay tuned for such updates. Let's move on to the next thing: reporting and analytics for the standard and custom objects. uh, like the standard objects by default comes up with the pre-configured reports and dashboards, and like some of the standard fields are readily available for the reports. You don't have to create a custom report type, assign the fields, then make the fields available to the reports. They are pre-configured, so that saves your time. And like for example, you can easily generate a report on opportunities to analyze the sales performance for a quarter or for a year. That will be easy to configure for you. You don't have to do anything extra. You just have to click certain buttons on the report under the reports and dashboard section, and your reports will be up and running. But when it comes to the custom objects, you have to first configure the report types for your custom objects. You have to create the custom report types. I mean, your admin has to create the custom report types each of your custom object, then add the fields to it. Then only you will be able to create the reports, and then only you will be create the dashboards out of those custom report types. So it will require a bit of work from your admin for the custom objects. For example, including custom field from a custom object in a like management dashboard report. Yes, you have to manually go and configure your fields to be appear under the report type. Once it is available under the report type, yeah, you can like show that field on the reports. So it will be a bit of work that your admin has to do. Let's see what we have next in the section, that is upgrade and maintenance for standard objects. Since the standard objects comes readily available with the Salesforce develop org, so it is Salesforce's responsibility to continuously upgrade them with the latest releases and automatically make them ready with the latest feature and enhancements that Salesforce provides. So you don't have to do anything about it. Salesforce will automatically take care in terms of the standard objects. But it is really crucial when it comes to the custom object, because the custom objects are being developed by your admin. So it is solely admin's responsibility to adjust your custom objects according to the upgrades in the Salesforce platform. If the new releases of the Salesforce doesn't support certain feature that you had added on the custom object, then you have to upgrade all those modifications to incorporate the changes required by the latest release. So that is also an extra work that your admin has to do. If we have to take an example, like adjusting custom code or configuration after a Salesforce platform update to ensure continued functionality. Yeah, that's what I mentioned. Like you have to manually take care of all the upgrades whenever the time comes. So let's look now. I think I tried giving you brief overview about what are the key differences between custom and standard objects. What are the key measures that you have to keep in mind while deciding which object to use for your next business process or next Salesforce based project. I hope you find this session very useful or insightful. So, if we have to like talk about the closing points on this, like in reality, both standard and custom objects has their own purposes, their use cases, but uh, striking a correct or right balance between the two is the key for a successful Salesforce implementation. So, whenever you like plan out the next project on top of Salesforce, be be ready or be like make sure that you do a thorough research about the use cases of your project, about the requirements of your project, and then take very informed decision about which object you will be using for storing your data, and so that you can have a better utilization practice in place in your Salesforce implementation. So that's what I wanted to discuss as part of this video. I hope this video is uh, in some way or other helpful to you. If you like our like this session, and if you want us to continue to make such interactive sessions or insightful sessions on different topics of Salesforce, subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much for your support, and we appreciate your time today. Thank you.